Welcome back. In this lecture, we are going to be designing the most, by far, important part of your entire website. So, no pressure. It is the hero section. It is the very top section, the first thing that people will see when they enter your website. Now, let's get started and get into our designer mode. So if you are still in the customization settings, we're just going to click on exit, head back into the dashboard, go into pages, all pages, and this is where you access the pages. You knew that already, but this is going to be our home page. It's called My Front Page. We're going to click on Edit, and then we're going to go down and click on Edit with Elementor. I'm going to click down the structure down here so we just get a big, nice, clean display. So Elementor is an editing program that you can download as an external program to WordPress editing. It comes with our starter kit, which is one of the amazing things that just saves us a lot of time. What we're going to do now is that we're going to be designing this big beauty. When people enter our website, this is what they will see. In here, we need to get them excited. We need to explain who we are, what we do, and why we're important. These are the design principles we will be working from. And what we have in our tool set is going to be, we have a frame, a placeholder for an image. We have a header, we have a body, and we have a call to action. This is a very classical designer setup when it comes to building e-commerces. And what we're going to focus on is selling our product over here. But as always, we look from the left to the right, at least in the West world. In Asia, they do it differently. And we're going to start with working on our header. So the way that we work with different sections in here is that we just click on them. When we click on them, we get a different menu to the left where we can edit the content, we can change the style, and we can go into advanced settings. And just follow along with me here because there's going to be a lot of learning by doing. There will be a lot of repetitions as we go where you start recognizing the navigations. And for example, when we change the font and the styles, we change the padding and the advanced, all of that is eventually just going to come naturally as we work our way through the different sections. So starting off with the heading, we want to be careful with how we name this part. Now we can either change the text in here or we can change the text directly here. It doesn't matter at all. I'm going to move into the left here, the title, and then I'm going to write clean water anywhere. Now again, why am I writing these words specifically? Because this is the essence of our brand and of the product we're selling. With the smart water bottle, you can literally have clean water wherever you are. This speaks to the hikers. This speaks to the gym goers. This speaks to the travelers who are all over the world. Wherever you are, you can get clean water. This explains what we are all about and what our mission is about. This will be the very first thing that people read and see when they enter our website. So make this count. Again, the design principle is who we are, what we're about, and why that is important. These three words explains just that, what we're all about. So now I'm just going to go down and select the body and work with this text. I'm going to continue explaining who we are, what we do, and why that's important, and I'm gonna write a self-cleaning water bottle with UVC technology that kills 99.9% of bacteria and keeps your water fresh every time. Now, don't worry about this text hitting this image. We're gonna change this image very soon. But again, this explains how we accomplish what we're offering. Our offer, clean water anywhere, and this is all how it's done. This is a big part of explaining who we are and what we're offering. Keep these principles in mind. Now, because this text is a little bit tight, it becomes quite hard to read. I'm going to move over into style, go down to where it says typography, and I'm just gonna click got it here, and I'm gonna go to line height, and I'm going to change this to 26. See, this is a lot better than this. This is quite tight and difficult to read, but when we move it to 26, it becomes a lot easier on the eyes. Just follow along with my every move here, and remember, this is learning by doing. Next, we're gonna go down and change the call to action button. So I'm gonna click on it to start designing it. The first thing I'm going to do is change the color. Now, the color theme we're working with here is very basic and very professional. White background, black text. So I'm going to change this one into a black button with a white text. So I'm gonna move over to style and then go down to color, click on the color, and just pull this one all the way down to the black. Very nice. and then I'm gonna click this away, and right now it's quite a bit of a square. And our entire theme with the font pairing, with the minimalistic design and the way of writing, it's all been having a very modern focus. I want to keep that focus very modern and just round these corners out a little bit. And I'm going to do that by going over to where it says border radius. There we are. And I'm going to set it at 150. And that gives us a nice round shape. Now notice also that when I hover my mouse over the button, it changes into a red color. That's not very nice, but we do like the hover effect, at least I do, and I want to keep that. So I'm just gonna change it into a different shade of black, make it slightly more grayish. So I'm gonna move over to where it says hover, click there, and rather than having the color red, I'm going to first put it down all the way to black and just move it slightly upwards like this. And let's see if we get any effect. Well, not really, to be honest. I'm going to move it more upwards. And now we're getting some effect. So this is all we're looking for, a slight effect when we hover our mouse over. Now, if we were using blue, for example, we might have a lighter shade of blue. Just use whatever color that you would like for your client's design that fits with your client's colors, of course, and make it slightly lighter for the hover effect. It gives it a very more 3D feeling when people are navigating the site. Then I'm just gonna click this away. And for now, just so you can see what we're working with, I'm going to click on this image right here, move over to where it says choose image, and I'm just going to throw it away. There we go. The reason for this is I'm going to set a background image first so you can see what it actually looks like with the background and without this, woman covering up half of our screen. So for now, we've been working with this very column. And in this column, we have the header, we have the body, and we have a call to action button. Here's another column. Here, there used to be a woman, which is an image column. Up here, you can see these 6 dots. That's the entire section. You can see this section stretching all the way from the left all the way over to the right. So what I want to do is click here in order to edit the entire section, move over to style, and then choose a background image. And what are we gonna choose? Well, if you're using our starter pack, you don't have to worry about that. We're just gonna click on image, click on upload file, and select files. Make sure that you're in the starter pack, go to website building and product images. Now what we're looking for is the hero background image. So here it says hero image background, and it's going to look like this. This is the image we want for our background. So I'm just gonna click on open. And then when it's loaded, we're gonna click on select. So in order to have it cover the entire section, all we're going to do is move over to the left. First of all, go into position and put it into default. And then we're gonna go down to display size and choose cover. So it's going to cover this entire section. Now let's go ahead and add in our product in here, which is the main thing we want to display. I'm going to click on this empty column, go over to choose image, upload files, select files. We're gonna scroll down until we see hero image graphic, which is this one that has all of its different benefits outlined with the product. And we're going to click on open and then select. Very nice. Now we just want to make some small adjustments. The first thing we want to do is change the color of the text so that it's more readable. So all I'm going to do is I'm going to click on the text itself, go over to style and go down to text color. Click on this area here and just move it straight up to where it's white. Do the same thing here. Click on this text. We're going to be in style, text color, move down, move it up to white. Very nice. Much easier to read. But we can make it even easier to read. It's all about the user experience, remember? So I'm going to work with the background image. I'm going to click on these 6 dots to work with this entire section, reaching the background image. Now I'm going to go down to where it says background overlay. What I want to do is just put a dark blanket, if you will, over this background image. So it just darkens the background and makes the white text pop out a little bit more, making it easier to read and the product more obvious. So I'm going to go down to background type, classic, and then I'm just going to add the color here, add in a black color, and then change the opacity to 0.2. I mean, 0.2 is still a big difference from 0. Now look at this is 0, and now look the original. And as we increase it to 0.2, notice how it just gets darker and everything just becomes easier on the eyes. Suddenly I can read this without straining, and the product is popping out a lot more. Now what we also want to do is just increase the size of this section. So in order to do that, I'm going to click up here. So we're working with this section still. And then in layout, we're going to go down to height. What we want to do is just increase the size of this section a little bit. So height, we're going to move from default to minimum height, and we're just going to play around with this. Now, a lot of modern designs has a full screen design, meaning that it covers the entire screen, sort of like this, and the entire experience is just you coming in, you see the text, and you see the water bottle, and everything looks very nice, and that's what you're looking for. Problem with that is that studies show that it doesn't entice users to check out more of your website. So what we want to do is we want to use a different design principle where we leave a little bit space down below so that we can show the next section. The reason is when the next section is visible, that makes your users interested in that section and it makes them scroll. And that scrolling is how you get them engaged and hooked, learning more about you or your client and their product and what they're all about, and that's how you get buyers. It's the same principle that every social media platform uses. They're doing their best to try to get their users to scroll and engage, and we're doing the very same thing here. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to keep it at, let's say, I think that's pretty good. Let's say 900. 900 nice and even. So we get some space down here. It's still a beautiful, fully covering section, but it entices them. Now it's important to understand that we are in editing mode. In order to understand how it's going to look full screen for our users, we need to click on this button to the left, which is going to hide this editing panel, and we can see what it's going to be like for the users. Depending on the screen you're using, this might actually fold down the entire area a little bit more. But for us, things look nice and safe, so we can just keep it this way. So this is a big, nice, beautiful design using great user experience principles. Once again, we're describing who we are, what we're about, and why that is important. We have our product being shown here, and we're using our assets that we've spent a lot of time on to make them professional. When it comes to working with your clients, they need to make sure that they have their own assets in order to sell their products using their own branding. We've incorporated fonting that fits with our entire brand, and we're using the principle of teasing the scroll. So we're leaving a little bit of space here for the next section, making our users want to scroll down. So well done creating the hero section of your website. And remember, the hero section is called so because it is truly the hero in the show. It's where all of the magic happens. It even shows that even with this principle, 75% of users who end up on your website don't actually scroll. But the percentage that don't scroll is so much higher if you don't use this principle of teasing for the scroll. So just remember, this truly is the hero of the show, the hero section. Make it count and spend a lot of time here to make it as attractive as possible. In the next lecture, we're going to go down and work on the next section, which is going to be what do we want to tease them to scroll into. See you in the next lecture.